The first time the United States fought Iraq was in 1991, and that mission or war was given the code name Operation Desert Storm. It is also known as the infamous Gulf War. You know the war is serious when it comes with two code names that strike fear and curiosity simultaneously. It is also one of the shortest wars in history, lasting only 43 days. Operation Desert Storm started on January 17, 1991, and happened when Iraqi troops in nearby Kuwait invaded Kuwait and refused to leave. It all started after the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, which lasted 7 years and 11 months. Iraq had racked up some huge debt and owed Kuwait and the United Arab Emirates money because they had paid for the war. Saddam Hussein, the president of Iraq, insisted that both countries cancel the debts of $30 billion that Iraq was owing because he helped protect them against Iran. Basically, a quid pro quo situation. But both countries said no, which is understandable, as $30 billion is a lot of money to cancel. Hussein got angry at their answer and threatened Kuwait, which is close by and just happens to have a lot of oil and a weak military force to protect it. Saddam Hussein started his claim by reigniting a decades-old border dispute over Kuwait itself. He accused Kuwait of stealing from an oil field on the border between Iraq and Kuwait, basically poking holes in wherever to give him a justifiable reason to punish Kuwait for their defiance in not canceling the debt. He even said that Kuwait was an artificial state made out of the Iraqi coast by Western colonialists, when in reality Kuwait had been internationally recognized as a separate country before Iraq was even made by Britain under a League of Nations mandate after World War I. Iraq then started to gather troops near Kuwait's border. Alarmed by these actions, Egypt's President Hosni Mubarak tried to get Iraq and Kuwait to make peace so that the US or other powers from outside the Gulf area wouldn't have to step in. Hussein broke off the negotiations after only 2 hours and on August 2, 1990, ordered the invasion of Kuwait. Iraq sent about 300,000 more troops to Kuwait to take over the country. Hussein declared the invasion as a holy war or jihad against the coalition to get more support from the Muslim world. He also tried to get on the side of the Palestinians by offering to leave Kuwait if Israel would leave the occupied areas. But everyone ignored him as they saw him for what he truly was. When these plans didn't work, Hussein made quick peace with Iran so that his army could be at full strength to fight against any forces. On November 29, 1990, the UN Security Council authorized the use of all necessary means of force against Iraq if it did not withdraw from Kuwait by January 15, 1991. Iraq, on the other hand, had the backing of Algeria, Sudan, Yemen, Tunisia, and the Palestinian Liberation Organization, PLO. Jordan, another weak neighbor, was also on Iraq's side. Saddam Hussein refused to leave Kuwait, and the war officially broke out. Operation Desert Storm was a go. Early in the morning of January 17, 1991, a huge US-led air attack hit Iraq's air defenses and quickly moved on to its communications networks, weapons plants, oil refineries, and more. Operation Desert Storm was a joint effort that used the latest military technology, such as stealth bombers, cruise missiles, so-called smart bombs with laser guidance systems, and infrared equipment for bombing at night. The Iraqi Air Force was either destroyed early on or chose to stay out of the fight because of the constant attacks. By the middle of February, the coalition's air attacks were now aimed at Iraqi ground troops in Kuwait and southern Iraq. Operation Desert Saber, a huge land attack by the Allies, began on February 24th. Troops moved from northeastern Saudi Arabia into Kuwait and southern Iraq. Over the next 4 days, the coalition forces surrounded the Iraqi troops, beat them, and freed Kuwait. At the same time, U.S. troops rushed into Iraq about 120 miles west of Kuwait and attacked Iraq's armored reserves from behind. The elite Iraqi Republican Guard put up a defense south of al-Basra in southeast Iraq on February 27th, but they were annihilated. The then United States President George Bush called an end to the Persian Gulf War on February 28th when Iraqi resistance fell apart. Hussein later agreed to the terms of peace, which said that Iraq would respect Kuwait's sovereignty and get rid of all its nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons of mass destruction. Operation Desert Storm was a success, and it only lasted for 43 days. That is all we have for you today. Click the subscribe button and the like button if you found this video informative. Also, hit the little bell. so you get notified when we post new informative videos like this just for you. Thank you for watching. Till next time.